Interesting one, this. MPs could soon be taking part in Prime Minister's questions, urgent questions and statements via video link when Parliament returns after recess. It's due to be back next Tuesday, and in a letter to MPs, the Commons Speaker, Sir Lindsay Hoyle, said that plans for a virtual Parliament are progressing well, but advised MPs to expect some bumps along the way. I think that's fair. I'm joined now by the Deputy Director for the Institute for Government, Dr Hannah White, who's just published a paper on how a virtual Parliament might work. Perfect person to have on this morning then. First things first, what hope is there that a place where you literally trip over tradition every 2 metres can be expected to modernise in this way?
Well, it's certainly unusual for Parliament to move as fast as it has been doing in the last couple of weeks. But I understand that there's a lot of work underway looking at the digital technology which could help Parliament to become, at least in part, virtual.
We'll touch on the practical issues in just a second, but just in terms of the primary reason for this, we are in a time of national crisis. The government is acting in the way in which it sees best, but that does not necessarily mean that this is not a time for proper parliamentary scrutiny.
No, if anything, it means that scrutiny is more important, because it's at times like this when government is having to move fast, it may be having to pass legislation, which is then going to be on our statute book, that it's really important for the rest of the MPs to have the chance to ask questions, to pick up flaws, to really test the government's reasoning, not to slow it down, but to identify things which really could have negative consequences if they're not picked up. And we already saw that before the recess, before the parliamentarians went back to their constituencies for Easter. There was a big bill, the coronavirus bill, passed, and proper scrutiny took place of that. It was fast, but there were lots of things picked up, particularly in the House of Lords, which were changed and changed for the better. So we have a better bill, a better piece of legislation now. OK, so let's turn to the practicalities.
In what way will it be possible for 650 plus figures to join in on a video conference call? I did one with 3 friends just a couple of weeks ago, and admittedly, there wasn't that much politics talk. There was an awful lot of shouting with just 4 guys. 650 plus, it's going to be hell to watch.
Well, you have to remember that it's actually extremely rare for anything like 650 MPs to participate in any sort of proceeding in Parliament. So I think there are 2 sides to this. One is for Parliament to be quite clear about what it actually needs to do during this period. As we've said, scrutiny is really important, and the government may need to pass urgent forms of legislation. But there are other things which Parliament does, which frankly, during this period, are probably more optional. So Parliament's got to be sensible, and government's got to be sensible about prioritising what they do. Then, on the other hand, you've got the technology, and I think there are going to need to be some changes to parliamentary procedure. It won't be possible for everyone to participate, for everyone to just stand up and say what they want to say whenever they want to say it. So there'll have to be the introduction of things like speakers lists, which are already used in the House of Lords, where ahead of a debate or ahead of a question time, MPs put their names forward, say they want to ask a question, a list is drawn up, paying careful attention to giving balance to all the different parties and people who want to participate. And then they know the order in which they're going to participate, so they can be ready in front of their screen, like I am now, to answer the question, ask the question, and possibly follow-up questions at the right moment.
One wonders, given that we're all looking to the horizon, when we're all going to be allowed outside again and get down the pub, and maybe I'll have mentioned that in the programme before, do you see this as perhaps kick-starting something of, if not a revolution in the way in which politics works in the House of Commons, then certainly the idea that we might well look at whether or not our politicians are doing the best possible job stuck in SW1?
I really hope that is the case. And it's often true that with Parliament, as you've said, it can be a bit of a reactionary place. It can be slow to adopt changes because everybody has to sign up to what happens. You don't have sort of one person at centre, like a Prime Minister, just determining what happens. Parliament is more like an organism with lots of 650 different people making every decision. And something like this can really kickstart processes. It can show MPs that actually maybe they have less to fear from new sorts of technology that they've tried and actually find work and have unexpected benefits. So I really hope that, particularly for things like select committees, who are now taking evidence via video link, that's something that could well be really useful for them in future, could expand the number of people they can talk to and where they can talk to them from, and that although things shouldn't roll over automatically into the post-corona period, which we all hope we're moving towards, MPs should give really serious consideration, having tried these things out, to which one of them they might want to keep.
If nothing else, I can guarantee you this, a virtual parliament would mean new intake MPs not getting lost quite as much as it happened back in the day. Dr. Hannah White, many thanks for your time this morning. Really appreciate it. Hope you and yours are very well indeed.
Thank you.